Hi guys, and welcome back to the Tommy Starcraft channel. It's your host Tommy with a very interesting and legendary game here in between the two pro players from the South Korean ladder. We have spawning here in the upper left part in the orange, it is Flash with his AK, and in the lower part in the teal it is La Dolce Vita, but this is of course the AK from JEADONG, as I have been told. So two legends collide here on 2024 South Korean ladder. Very interesting, a very long replay as you can see from the timer. Almost 30-minute gameplay here in between them as they're spawning on a 4 spawning location map here. And yeah, very soon we are once again going to be looking at their build orders. We see a very high APM here from Flash, already 400. JEADONG seems to be playing a little bit more chilled out with only 200 APM and actually going for a spawning pool first. So it looks like JEADONG wants to be more aggressive here into this game. Overall already moving out, Flash actually preparing a wall off here for his expansion, so also a different strategy apparently. Usually when he plays against Protoss he's placing his buildings next to his command center, but this time I believe he's opting to go for a fast expansion build order. So yeah, leaves a small gap here, continues with his barracks. Let's check JEADONG, already a little bit supply blocked. I believe he did the trick with the extractor as he's now moving out with his scouting drone at around the 1 minute and 40-second mark. And yeah, let's have a look what his plans are. Is he going into mass Zerglings? Is he going to try to punish the economy and the build order from Flash early on? Let's have a look what his plans are as the first Zerglings are getting spawned here by him. The drone already reaching this point right here. The overload is already reaching this point. So right now I believe JEADONG pretty much knows where exactly Flash is situated, and with that I believe he's going to send out his first Zergling straight towards the expansion point here from Flash. So Flash might be in some early difficulties as the first Marine is going to get produced here. We see another supply depot here in front from him, but I believe there is a gap. I believe the Zerglings could walk here forward. Let's have a look as the Zerglings do indeed move out here now. 6 of them, no other Zerglings are getting produced. We see a hatchery being produced here for JEADONG. Let's see if those Zerglings will be successful here as Flash going now for his second Marine. So yeah, in they come. The SCVs are here to block the entrance. Only one Marine is out. So JEADONG really wants to punch here forward, taking some damage. The first SCV has been killed. Second one taking also some damage. The Marines have been surrounded. And yeah, now the SCVs actually have to fight versus the Zerglings. We saw a nice micro, but 2 Zerglings are pretty much hurt. There's only one Zergling is now being left, and the SCV will very likely fight it off. The second SCV also coming in here forward for Flash, so a good hold here by Flash, losing some units however. And yeah, the Zerglings sees of course now the main from Flash, just roaming around, just trying to be annoying. He might even try to snipe this one SCV right here. And yeah, in the end I believe this will be of course taken care of here by Flash with some Marines. So a very aggressive move out early on by JEADONG, but now he's actually focusing into a macro oriented game, going for his second hatchery there. Let's check his main. Still no tier 2 for him, so still no plans to go for mutalisk. He might even transition into straight mass Zerglings. Could be an option for him with speed. Let's see if this is indeed his strategy, as now Flash is moving out with some Marines, I believe just to casually snipe some overloads. Perhaps he's going to find some Zerglings out. 2 Zerglings are here into this location. The wall up is pretty much complete. The expansion also getting done very soon, as Flash is securing this other expansion point right here with some Marines. And let's see, the scouting SCV is also now moving forward for him. I believe he really wants to know when or if it's going to be a tier 2 upgrade. There it is. Very late indeed, of course, as JEADONG focused into creating more hatcheries here. And yeah, let's see if he's going to transition into some mutalisk. Could be an option, although they would be very late. However, this will force of course Flash to go for some turrets for an engineering bay and so on. So this is why this SCV right here is really important, but it actually gets blocked. So very good snipe here by JEADONG. The SCV gets blocked, so right now Flash doesn't really know what exactly the strategy from JEADONG is. He could even go for some hydralisk, he could even go for some lurkers, would be very interesting with some overload. This overload right here could be very important to drop some lurkers into this location. as we see some fire bats now getting produced by Flash, and he's actually deciding to move out here onto the map. I believe he's going to try to snap the expansion right here, but the first sunken colony is getting created here by JEADONG. However, I believe it's going to be a little bit late for him, as in come the Marines, that they will be able to deal damage, but we do have some Zerglings out. However, lots and lots of damage is being taken. Stim is actually being done, and we do see some medics out. But the sunken, I believe, is going to finish indeed on time, and with that I believe JEADONG should of course be able to hold this, as more and more Zerglings do pull here forward. And in the end, the Marines will be surrounded. That firebat here as well deals good damage. And actually somehow Flash was able to make it happen here with some pretty good micro. The firebat seems to be the real damage dealers, of course, against the Zerglings. However, we see a second creep colony. Stim is being done, and here we go. He's moving straight forward, tries to go for the main, but now JEADONG has to fight with his drones. He's blocking here the entrance really nicely. Losing some drones, of course, but in the end it was worthy not to allow those units to make it their way here forward towards the main, as there were no defenses here. So very fast reaction by JEADONG, blocking the entrance immediately. Very fast singing by him, of course, sacrificing some drones. Currently is at 24 versus the 32 here for Flash, but they in the end did hold the rush by Flash with those fire bats. And now we even have some upgrades going out here. Weapons 1 for the Marines, and actually we do see some mutalisk here for JEADONG. So let's see if this is going to be able to do some damage, as the first turrets are also getting spawned. So I believe Flash might have scanned the area here indeed with his satellite, and now he sees, of course, that the spire has been done, so he's going for his turrets. And actually we see a triple starport. Terran starport, yes, he's going for 3 starports somewhere hidden. Yeah, there they are. So a very interesting strategy here for him all of a sudden. Could this be massive Wraith? Let's have a look if this is indeed his intentions. A rare sight indeed to see triple starports for a Terran. Perhaps a new meta to just punish the Zerg with his mutalisk. And there they are, mutalisk all over the place. So 3 starports, quite a strange build order here from Flash. Perhaps he knows something we don't know, so let's see if this is going to be able to inflict, of course, some damage. Could be some science vessels as well. No, it's actually Wraith. He's going for mass Wraith, with just to punish the mutalisk here, and also perhaps to be lucky to snipe some overlords in the air. Defense is looking really strong. One SCV might get sniped, but the mutalisk will also take quite some damage. They make it somehow here forward towards the SCVs. But yeah, the Marines will be able to fend this off as the mutalisks take more and more damage. But as you can see at the worker count, JEADONG actually bouncing back to 30 workers here versus his opponent. And slowly but steadily we're closing towards the 10-minute mark. We see an evolution chamber. There is the Hydris den with some lurkers. So we could see a transition here by JEADONG into some lurkers very soon. And let's see what exactly Flash is doing here with the starports. Looks like Wraith with cloak for him. More and more Wraiths are getting produced, so once again he's opting to go for this strategy, really believing into those Wraiths. Let's see, could this be the next meta for the Terran versus the Zerg? Of course, very strong versus the Overlords, very good versus the Mutalisk, and also quite abusive versus the drones into the middle line. I believe some spores might even get forced out here from JEADONG, as more and more mutalisk join here the attack. So have a look if JEADONG is going to be successful into inflicting some damage towards the economy from the opponent, as he's now moving forward with his mutalisk. And there's so many turrets out, but he might find a good gap here to move forward, snapping some Marines, taking some damage, of course. Just testing the waters here, if he's able to punch out somehow forward. And this turret is pretty much exposed. He might just snap it here. JEADONG with a very Marines reach it on time. I believe Flash is going to be even able to repair it, but no. In comes JEADONG once again, sniping that. And now with the bouncing balls from the mutalisk, he's able to deal some damage. But now in come the cloaked Wraith, and with that the rush is pretty much over. He might even try to snipe the Overlord. It would be very good here for Flash. That's exactly what he's doing. And with that, the mutalisks actually have to retreat here, as the Wraith seems to be a little bit faster than the mutalisk. So the rush is pretty much taken care of here by him, as the Wraiths now move forward. And it's actually 8 Wraiths, but mutalisk stand now and fight. So let's see who's going to be the victory. I believe Flash has the small advantage, still cloaked. Some Scourges have joined here the fight. More and more damage is being taken left and right, but JEADONG seems to be losing this air fight. Some Scourges get some good connections. Reinforcements are moving forward, but yeah, in the end, JEADONG, sadly for him, losing all of those mutalisk. And now the overlords are pretty much exposed. At the same time, we even see some Marines moving here forward, so it looks like Flash really wants to finish this game early on, sniping more and more of those overlords, trying of course to keep JEADONG supply blocked here, and JEADONG reacting immediately with a great micro here actually by Flash here as well, and more overlords actually have to be produced, and now Flash is even into the main here from his opponent as in come the Hydras to fend this off. And yeah, what a great abusive gameplay here, very rarely seen for the Terrans to go for a race, but it looks like it's going to work out really well for him. However, now JEADONG now reacting with some Scourges, with micro here once again here by Flash. Some Wraiths are being hidden with cloak, the others aren't, so he's actually nicely spreading those Wraiths. Very hard to execute of course, but Flash is of course known for his great micro as he's sniping more and more of those drones. In the meantime, the Marines are just on standby there, and yeah, the Wraiths just pretty much fly here over undetected, and as they deal more and more damage towards the drones left and right, I believe he needs some spores will have to be created here by JEADONG, and yeah, Scourges get some good connections, but the overlords are once again exposed. The drones take more and more damage. JEADONG dropping below 30 workers here. What a great micro intensive game here by him. Now finally some spores have been created. The Hydras will take some good damage, some good shots, but we even see Dark Swarm now reaction by JEADONG. Very smart move by him to protect those drones. He could even go for Burrow. We've seen him go for Burrow, but now he has spores, and I believe with that the race will of course be held off, and Flash actually reacting, knowing that he has now the map control towards the exit from JEADONG. He is actually reacting with another expansion for him, so JEADONG actually being forced to stay back home to defend against so many Wraiths, to even have to go for 2 spores, and the overlords even take more and more damage. So all of a sudden, very defensive gameplay here, and actually we see a great plague now being casted against all of those Wraiths. I believe with that even a couple of mutalisks could be able to take care of that, so Flash is now getting forced back. Let's check out the upgrades for his Marines. 1 weapons upgrades, I believe range armor is going to also get done here. We haven't seen Irradiate now happening here for Flash, and he might go into more science vessels here for him, so let's see. He's slowly but steadily abandoning the position, leaving 1 SCV here. I believe he's going to try to protect his expansion. JEADONG at the same time still stays at home. A great plague indeed has been casted by him, and that has of course forced Flash to go back home to get repaired by the SCV. So a great game indeed. Even some lurkers here on standby for JEADONG, but they might get surrounded very soon. So the lurkers sadly here for JEADONG taking so much damage. So a little bit of a miss micro. The Wraiths are still alive. They have been repaired, and now Flash seems to be having the advantage here moving forward. But yeah, those lurkers can be very deadly for him. I believe of course this is why he added the science vessels to have detection. He's even scanning the area here, and let's see, he might even try to irradiate of course. So scanning the area just to irradiate the important units from JEADONG, those Defilers. Very strong unit to have into the late game as a Zerg, especially versus the Marines on the ground. So Flash knows this of course. He might try to split his troops. That's exactly what he's doing, and he's just scanning the area, just adding irradiance after irradiance here versus his opponent. And slowly but steadily JEADONG seems to be trying to move out, as we will soon reach the halftime here of this game. So yeah, scanning going out, and irradiance should be followed up very soon here by Flash, as he's just patrolling the map, just trying to gain more and more map control. The same can be said here for JEADONG. He's slowly but steadily moving out. I believe he knows about this expansion right here. So we might see a strong engagement here in the middle of the map. The science vessel immediately going for the irradiance. Good micro here. Flash deciding actually to pull back a little bit, just kiting a little bit back. Perhaps he's just going to target those Zerglings. Let's check the upgrades from JEADONG. We have time here. Just 1 carapace for him currently. I believe the Marines should have 1 weapons upgrades, and more is to come. 2 weapons upgrades is going to be done, and we even see some tanks, I believe, against again the Sunkens on the ground, as more units are getting split up here by Flash, but they will be intercepted very soon, so JEADONG could deal massive amounts of splash damage here versus the Marines. They have to retreat, but we do have tanks in a great position in the back, protected by those rocks here in the front, shooting lots and lots of splash damage and more. Map control is actually getting gained here by Flash as he's trying a great surround. The science vessels a little bit too much in the front, and now Flash tries to attack from the rear. Very smart move by him. Great play, however, here by his opponent. The lurkers will try to get some connections. No reinforcements yet here for Flash as he has to retreat, and the Hydras just keep on slapping Marine after Marine, and yeah, in come the lurkers, the real damage dealers, of course, as it's a nice micro battle here in the middle of the map. But we still see some units here fly over with some Wraiths here from Flash. And let's see if those Wraiths, if they have so many kills here, 1 onto this one, 3 and so on. So many drones have been snapped here by those Wraiths, as they just wait here for the reinforcements before JEADONG to pull here forward and immediately sniping them. So very smart move by him. Might be lucky to snap those lurkers here. He might even be lucky to snap the Defiler, the important unit. That's exactly what he's doing. So the Wraiths once again showing their strengths here, dealing more and more damage, taking out important units here from JEADONG. So quite a hard game here for JEADONG. He needs detection. He needs to create somehow a highway with overlords and with Hydras. And at the same time now in comes Flash with the tanks in the back, with the science vessels in the air. Very strong mix of army indeed here for him, as the Marines now do have 2 weapons upgrades. Very strong upgrades here indeed once again for Flash. And now the Wraith actually will be taking some damage, so finally JEADONG taking some good connections here. Is he going to irradiate some overloads? No, he's just regrouping into the middle of the map, as Flash does the same here. But remember, he has the expansion as well, and it's actually a 3-base Terran versus a 3-base Zerg, and yeah, JEADONG knows this, of course. It's going for another expansion. He needs those hatcheries to just create a massive macro Zerg game versus his opponent. That's exactly why he's taking this expansion right here, but it has been very likely scanned by Flash as he's moving forward with his Marines, with his medics, and this should be, of course, taken care of. Sadly here for JEADONG, he did not have the time to cancel this one, so small victory once again for Flash, as he's just taking out once again the Defiler here with the Irradiance. At the same time, he's preparing some small groups here, but JEADONG also having some units here, so JEADONG with a great move here, he might be able to deal so much damage towards the units from Flash. Finally a good move by him, as Flash has to bring some reinforcements forward against those lurkers. Expansion has been cancelled, so JEADONG actually not allowing Flash to just massive micro all over the place, just massive expand all over the place. And yeah, regrouping once again going on here into the middle of the map. Finally JEADONG also reacting with some upgrades towards his Hydralisk and lurkers, 2 to 1. He might even try to go for some Ultralisk. Ultralisk would be, of course, a great damage dealers onto the ground, and let's see what's going to happen here. Some Hydralisk a little bit exposed in the front. Sadly here for JEADONG, his lurkers don't really get any good connections, as Flash is very good into kiting those Marines back and forward, not allowing those lurkers to get good attack moves, and now they might be successfully here. A great Plague. Flash, sadly for him, not paying attention, so the tanks are a little bit exposed. Flash has to unsiege, but still taking more and more damage. Tanks in the back are shooting. The reinforcements are pulling forward, but there is Dark Swarm here for JEADONG, as he's dealing more and more damage towards Flash. At the same time, Flash still has the Marines here out, still checking the expansion. And yeah, once again, the science vessels in the air seems to be also a very strong unit to counter those Defilers, to counter the lurkers, as Flash just keeps on gaining more and more positional advantage here versus his opponent. We might see another Irradiance, but we also see Plague from his opponent. So yeah, JEADONG just sniping a science vessel there. And let's see how this game is going to continue, as very soon we will pass indeed the 20-minute mark. So it's still anyone games, a very interesting game indeed. Defilers prove to be very strong once again versus the ground units from the Terran. And we also have a nice mix here of tanks with Marines, with medics. And let's not forget the science vessel seems to be the perfect counter towards those Defilers on the ground. So both players try to mix their units, their armies into small groups here, just trying to gain more and more map advantage. Lurker finally getting some good connections as Flash is not paying attention here. He's actually moving out with a small group of Marines into another expansion point, but there is a Defiler here, so lots and lots of small groups now onto the map. Flash defending and slowly but steadily moving out. Let's see if this small group of Marines will be able to deal some damage, but there is Dark Swarm, and I believe with that this will of course be held very easily here for JEADONG. So a good defense by JEADONG indeed, as Flash is taking more and more damage of course. Another fight here in the middle of the map. A great Plague has been casted and JEADONG slowly but steadily seems to be gaining more and more of an advantage, as he is able to defend those expansion quite nicely. I believe he also is going for an Idol Swarm. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. So yeah, Flash now being forced to defend his base right here. A little bit of an exposed base. JEADONG just preparing small groups of units all over the map, having even Hydrolisk and Defilers. But yeah, Flash reacting immediately with the Radiance. I think then once again Flash is moving out, this time with some tanks on the high ground. So sadly here for JEADONG, he's a little bit separated, but he does have an Aegis Worm here, so let's see how long he can hold. He needs some units really fast here, as he's moving now forward with his Marines, with his tanks, and yeah, in come the Hydrus, but they also need some Defilers with some Dark Swarm. And there it is, as the Lurkers now will be able of course to take this out. And we see once again a defensive matrix here for Flash, also another one here, so he seems to be giving great importance towards that defensive matrix. He needs to however micro those science vessels, really hurt. Reinforcements are going forward. I believe JEADONG should have stayed into the Dark Swarm, and I believe JEADONG is indeed going to be able to hold this push, as he is having so many units here. So the push has been held. Dark Swarm once again proving to be really strong. Great connections by the Lurkers. There's so many tanks. Let's have a look at upgrades. One weapons upgrades even done here, as also JEADONG having the last upgrades for those Hydrolisk also being done, and for the Zerglings here as well. No ultra-risk yet for him, as Flash decides to attack into the middle of the map. Zerglings however getting some good connections. Great Irradiance once again getting casted. At the same time another group of tanks actually here is going solo with tanks. Let's see if this is going to work out for him, as JEADONG immediately reacting with some Zerglings here. And now we do see the siege tanks getting him in a very good position, but he needs some reinforcements, as in comes JEADONG with his Lurkers, with his Hydrus from the back and from all these directions. Great Dark Swarm once again being casted. A second Dark Swarm is getting casted, as Flash is taking more and more damage here out of JEADONG, and the tanks will be taken out really fast. So a great move by JEADONG, a great defense by him, taking good control now of his part of the map, as Flash is once again moving out with his troops, with his tanks, with Marines. No more medics I see for him. I believe he's just going straight into mass Marines. And let's have a look if those science vessels will of course be able to take out important units. Let's see. In comes the attack. A good flank could be possible here actually for JEADONG. The medics are pretty much exposed. A lot of mistake here. Some tanks are getting sieged up. The Hydrus actually getting pretty much obliterated here in a bad position, and as Flash is now moving forward, attacking from all sides, the siege tanks have been sieged up, so this will of course secure the Marines. So Dark Swarm once again is being massively needed here by JEADONG to defend this, but so many tanks in a great position. He's trying to lure out the Lurkers and the Hydrus from the Dark Swarm, attacking from different directions here. JEADONG taking more and more damage. The tanks in the back are pretty much secured. The spread is really good with the Marines. At the same time we see a counter attack with JEADONG with some Lurkers, but the real damage is of course happening here, and I believe JEADONG might try to abandon this. Let's have a look if this attack is going to be able to do something. Dark Swarm here into his location, immediately a great reaction here by Flash, immediately uplifting the command center, immediately taking out the SCVs of danger, as both players are pretty much now attacking the newly established base, the last newly established base from each other. And yeah, Flash however being able to deal more damage, but notice that there's so many more drones here for JEADONG, so he can still massively outproduce a Flash, and he was successful here with an attack, as he's forcing a long distance mining from Flash. Flash in the meantime is going to try to go for the upper part. JEADONG expecting this attack, but sadly for him he has no Defiler. Still he decides to attack, so perhaps a mistake here by JEADONG, as he's taking more and more damage. Defensive matrix once again, and with that the tank looks pretty much into invincible here, as he's going to push out once again with some Dark Swarms. No, with some irradiance here from the Science Vessel. So Flash punishing here JEADONG. JEADONG a little bit offhand. He wasn't really paying attention. There was no Defiler on the ground. Finally, there is the Defiler. So without the Defiler, the army from the Zerg looks pretty much very, very weak, especially against those tanks in the back. And yeah, let's see, as Flash slowly but steadily pushes more and more forward with his Marines. JEADONG tries to counter perhaps with some small groups in the back with the Defiler. So many Defilers here for him. Still anyone's game, a very, very hard game indeed for JEADONG. He has to out-micro his opponent with Defilers, with Dark Swarms, but the reinforcements are also pulling here forward for Flash. The tanks are pretty much exposed now into the Dark Swarm, and in come the reinforcements by JEADONG. Is it going to be enough for him, as now we have a reaction by Flash. He's going for some Fire Bats. Fire Bats, of course, deal damage into the Dark Swarm. And yeah, let's see, it looks like Flash is just pretty much going to commit here forward. Lots and lots of Fire Bats, so this seems to be the answer from the Terran into the late game versus the Defilers. It's more and more is getting pushed here forward. This gap actually working against JEADONG this time. Flash in a very good position. He's spreading his Marines nicely out. The medics are also dealing great healing here for the Marines. And Flash seems to be just securing this position right here with the tanks in the back, with the Marines in the front. Income even the Science Vessels, as JEADONG sadly here for him is taking more and more damage. More and more irradiance is going out here. So Flash getting some great connection as he's able to snipe another expansion. I believe his next move is going to be into this expansion right here. So many units are pulling forward for him, and JEADONG in some serious trouble, as the Fire Bats are the answer, of course, into the Dark Swarm from the opponent. And yeah, the attack continues here for Flash. JEADONG tries, of course, to secure his other positions, but his newly established base will be in danger very, very soon as the Marines are moving forward. And there's nothing left here to defend, just a Night Swarm with some Zerglings. No Dark Swarm sadly here for JEADONG, as this is pretty much a suicide mission here for those units on the ground. You can see all of the blood on the ground. Everything is getting thrown out here for JEADONG. He will be able to hold, I believe, but at what cost? He's taking more and more damage from the tanks in the back. He's trying to bring reinforcements. Sadly for him, he doesn't have a Defiler here, and Flash slowly but steadily keeps on pushing forward. We see JEADONG losing so many units here, as Flash is now bringing forward his reinforcements. So the base is pretty much in danger here, and a great skip here by JEADONG, skipping the irradiance with the cocoons from the lurkers, as in comes more and more irradiance, massive amounts of irradiance all over the place, as the Marines are also attacking here. So JEADONG in some serious trouble. The MVP seems to be the Science Vessels here for Flash, as there are just so many of them, and even the tanks in the back will be able to secure, of course, the units against any reinforcements here by JEADONG. So JEADONG in pretty much danger now, is about to lose an important expansion here in the higher right part. He's trying, of course, to react with some Dark Swarms, with the income the Fire Bats, income the tanks for him. Those Zerglings taking so much damage, they don't even reach, sadly for him, the tanks, and with that Flash has done it. He's beating JEADONG in a very long, a very nice macro game, with a great mix of units, Marines with medics, later on some Fire Bats against the Dark Swarm, and the tanks also very strong with weapons to upgrades. At the same time, he was even able to snipe this expansion right here, and yeah, upgrades very important, 3-3 upgrades here for him. So what a great game indeed by both players. At one point I saw that JEADONG had the advantage. He had more supply, more drones than his opponent. But yeah, the mix of units here for Flash. And let's not forget those Science Vessels in the air. Perfect counter towards the Dark Swarm on the ground from the opponent. So great mix of bio with mech this time for Flash. Winning an important game for him on the ladder. Let's check the stats very quick. So I'm going to be clicking left and right. Very nice back and forward game. JEADONG deciding not to go for Ultra Risk. Perhaps Ultra Risk would have been a better decision, but then again, he knows better, so maybe in the next game he's going to try Ultra Risk. Maybe he's going to try some Queens versus the tanks. It could also be an option, of course. So yeah, still a very good game. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.